I was just reading and enjoying the comments underneath one of my YouTube videos in which a bit of a debate was going on about whether or not time was definitively real or whether or not it was an illusion. And it's a really interesting subject to explore because, on the one hand, it seems obvious that time is definitively real. I went to the park for lunch. That was in the past. I'm now here. But on another hand, it's always now. So when I was in the park, it was now. It's now. Everything that we experience, every moment that we experience, it's always now. No one has ever or could ever actually experience time directly in terms of past and future other than through the mind. So what we tend to do is we create this character, me, first, and then project him or her into, for example, the future. But that future is only ever imagined. And so if we imagine a future that is seemingly fun and exciting, then we may feel uplifted. But as is often the case, if we imagine a future that is scary and fearful, we are more prone to feel anxiety. But that doesn't change the fact that both of those imaginary future scenarios are taking place now. No one could ever experience the future other than through their imagination. And so when people talk about fearing the unknown, fearing the future, really they're talking about fearing their imagination. Similarly, we never actually experience the past directly except through our memory. And obviously our memory, just like the imaginary future, just is taking place in the mind as thoughts and images now, invariably with this me character in the center of things. So on the one hand, it seems like time is definitively real. We look in the mirror, our face is aging, etc. But on the other hand, it's always now. So it is this paradox of time clearly does exist, but also time does not exist. But one thing that is absolutely abundantly clear is that most people tend to spend too much time in psychological time. Obviously, thinking, okay, what am I going to do tomorrow is valuable. But we are buffeted by thoughts about what might happen in the future, for better and worse, way more. So we are being pulled into an imaginary future more than is probably healthy for us. And so that is something to consider. And similarly, we only have an identity in relationship to our memories of the past. Like we only have an identity in terms of the type of person we are, the job we do, the status we have, what's happened to us, the story of me, via our memories of the past, which are, of course, taking place now. And obviously, our identity can get really heavy and weigh us down. It seems to be so important, and everyone defends their identity, it seems, as if it's the most important thing. And yet, we love to be free of our identity, as, for example, happens during flow. So in flow, our thoughts of the past and thoughts about the future drop away. Without thoughts about the past, we can have no identity. So we have no identity in that timeless moment. There's no time for imagining what might happen in the future. So we're not creating psychological suffering that way. We are just at one with this moment. But it's not that we're present, it's that underneath the psychological time traveling, there is presence. And that is our fundamental nature. And that presence is what gives us that sense of, I can't believe I look a certain age when I look in the mirror. I feel exactly the same as I always have done. And so it is this paradox again of basically existing, as it were, in two planes of existence. One, this narrative self seemingly passing through time, getting older, eventually going to die, ups and downs. But then on this other level, the aware presence, this being level, consciousness, whatever you want to call it, that is always absolutely at one with now. So it's not even that now and aware presence, the fundamental reality of us, are two separate things. You can't separate the now and aware presence. They're the same thing. And on that level, it's not that the aware presence is passing through time. It's that the things that give the impression of time, the changing perceptions we see of our face in the mirror, the changing thoughts, the changing feelings, they are passing through this aware presence now, this now. So again, I just want to repeat what I said at the start. I don't see it as either or. I see it as both and. We are human beings. And on the human level, we are passing through time. On the being level, everything that gives the impression of time is passing through us.